Today I had an amazing meeting with a very inspirational lady by the name of Vanessa McLean, who is a confidence performance coach, and she really helped me to understand the power of my story. I remember a few years ago when I was sitting next to my driving instructor and he turned towards me and he said, "You had passed." I could not believe it. The sense of excitement and achievement just flooded me, and I almost started crying because prior to him telling me that I had just passed, I had failed. And I hadn't failed once, I hadn't failed twice, I had failed 3 times. And along that journey, I felt like giving up. You know, after you do your test the first time and you spend all that money, you then think, well, if you do it again, are you going to pass? If you don't pass again, you're going to waste money. And what happened was that I had completed my theory test. And what happens is that after 2 years has passed, if you don't pass your driving test within the 2 years, you've got to do your theory test again. So there I was, sitting in my room, preparing for my theory test because the 2 years had passed. I hadn't passed my driving test. I had attempted it, I had failed. And I sat there and I thought, I'm sitting here, I've done this already, I've been here already, I've actually succeeded. But because the second part of the journey wasn't completed, I found myself back at step 1. And I had to really say to myself, you know what, Satonya, even though you feel like you've taken a step backwards because you have had to repeat something, it's okay, because that's just the reality of life. Sometimes you will find yourself having to step back in order to move forward, having to reflect, having to go back to find whatever it is that you're looking for. And then me going back, doing my theory again, I was even more determined that I was going to pass my test. So again, I booked my test, I went for my exam, and I failed. So even though I passed my theory test, again I had failed. And I said, okay. So I was motivated enough to pass my theory test. I was motivated enough to book my test. However, even in that motivation, even in that determination, I still did not pass. What was I going to do? What would you have done? Would you have resat another test, spent all that money? Or would you have given up? And there's many of you who are maybe in that place where you've tried, and you haven't succeeded, you haven't achieved, you haven't got the results that you were expecting. But the decision that I made when I was in that place was that this is just temporary. It doesn't mean that I will never pass, it just means that I haven't passed so far. But if I try again, it means I give myself another opportunity to see if I can. I would rather give myself an opportunity and hope for the best than to sit and 5 years from now, 10 years from now, still not have a license because I was fearful. Some of us are afraid of success and some of us are afraid of failure. I made a decision that I wasn't going to allow my fear of failure to stop me from succeeding. So I went again and I went again. And eventually, I heard the words that I was looking for. I felt the feeling that I had been longing for. And I got the result that I'd been working hard to receive. I got the pass, and many years on from now, I'm still driving. Now, I can drive however I want. 2 hands on the wheel, 1 hand on the wheel. However I want to. Simply because I chose not to give up. I chose not to give up, but I chose to succeed. And that's the beauty with life and with lessons and with journeys. Sometimes you will do something and it will work. It will go the way that you planned. Other times it won't work. But my message to you today is to never give up. Never give up. Regardless of how many times you need to go again, keep on going. Because no matter how many times you fail, you only need to succeed once to give you the confidence that you need to keep on succeeding. Thank you for listening and allowing me to share my story with you.